G'day guys, welcome back to the farm on Farming Simulator 22. It's January now. I normally don't show the winter months, but I thought why not? Might as well, otherwise you just think I'm off there doing nothing. But it's winter, there's really not that much to do other than to look after the animals and sell a couple of products that we have which don't bring in heaps of money. I nearly rolled the tractor there. But to start off with today, we're going to need to give the cows a good feed, make sure they've got everything that they need, and we're going to sell the lettuce. It's one of the main jobs of January, and then we'll just pass through the days to make sure that there's enough to actually make a video. So first things first, we'll jump into the telehandler over here and we can start loading up some bales into the feed mixer. We need to put the bale spike on. We've been using the big bucket there quite a bit recently with the manure. Now we are going to go over and chuck a full silage bale in. That's how I normally roll, one full silage bale and then maybe 3/4 of a hay bale, and whatever's left from that we'll just top it up with the straw. I quite like this machine. A full frontal first person view in here is quite comfortable, whereas most other machines I prefer to just third person. So we'll just drop that in there. If we can release that, that'd be perfect. And we are going straight in front of us there. Grab ourselves a full hay bale. I don't know if there's any part bales left over from a previous feed. I'm not very good at keeping track of which one's which, but this one looks like it's had a little bit of use. So it's got 7,400 litres. We normally put just around 5,000 in, so we'll make sure that there's around about 2,500 left over for the next feed, which goes down quite quick, so you've got to be fairly decent at snapping it back up. Now, right about that'll do. A little bit more than I should have put in, but is what it is. There should still be some room for some straw in there. Make that a good mineral feed, TMR. We don't use the additive, we don't really need to. Still gives them 100% productivity without using it. I don't really see the point of buying that product myself. There we go, nearly always worry about driving into the pit there. Still, it's quite lumpy and bumpy around in this yard, so we'll just top this up with whatever it needs in terms of straw. So there's a full bale here. These do last us quite a long time because there's such big bales, 11,000 litres each, whereas our silage bales are only 5,500, so they do go quite fast. So we barely used anything there, but it still counts as a TMR mix. So that's fine. They could probably use 2 mixes, but we'll just do 1 for now. We'll just do 1 each day, just to keep them going. Okay, we didn't really do that as well as we should have. That's okay, so we'll leave the telehandler there for later. We're actually going to use that pretty soon to go and load up the lettuce, but we'll just get this feed sorted out. Loading up the lettuce is quite a long job. There's a lot of pallets up there by the greenhouses, so I probably won't bore you too much with that. Might just do a quick time lapse with it or completely cut it out. Forage harvester might be good later down the track, but not right now. So product wise, what do we got? So we're just looking for January. We've got silage. We don't want to be selling any silage. And what else? We don't want to sell any of our grass or hay or straw. They're all good prices at this time of year, but we don't sell them. So lettuce is going to be the one that we sell. Milk as well is pretty decent. Best prices of February, but still good price today. Sunflowers we sell in March, so looking forward to selling those. And lettuce, good price today, so we'll get that loaded up. get that down to the store. I think we normally make around 20,000 for that, which is just good money considering we don't have to do anything. Just put water into the greenhouse and it just does its thing. So we could sell this silage, seeing as the price is good for this time of year, but it's not quite ready. So I think we'll just shoot on up to the other farm there. We'll get all that lettuce loaded up and we'll take that down onto the store and get that bank balance looking a little bit healthier for January. Okay, we'll just drive that in, not like that. I want to get the whole trailer into that drop zone, but that doesn't look like it's going to be a massively failed attempt, and reversing these trailers is very difficult, so we'll just, I think we'll just do a U-turn and we'll try and put it back in normally. But still, we've got $16,500 there. So we should have around about 4,000 left on the trailer. Money's going up, which is good. Good to see that. And how much are we going to make? It's normally a pretty consistent price. Yeah, another 4.5, so about 21,000. Not bad for a year's worth of lettuce, which we didn't have to do any work for. The only work we have to do is loading up, which does take quite a while, but it's all worth it really. So I think the next thing we're going to do is we want to get that money going up as best we can today. So we'll go off and we'll get a couple of loads of milk taken away and we'll go sell those down at the dairy. There's our field. Looks like she's ready for planting. Not the right time of year for that at the moment though. I think we're planting in March, so that'll be the next job after this episode, I think. Here we are in the milk trailer. We got about 3 loads worth. Got 22,000 litres in stock at the moment. So we'll get 3 loads pretty much down to the dairy. They're normally about $6,500 each. So there's another 18 to 20,000 that we're going to have. And I've got the trailer in this field here because I want to fell a couple of trees just to see what the value is of those. Because we've got a lot of trees down at the sunflower field which we can chop down and sell if we need the money, but I kind of want to get those for the carpentry. Chop up some trees. We're just gonna break off all these branches. I've seen some people just run up the trunk and use the chainsaw to strip all the branches off, but I'm not very good at doing that. Don't know why not, but it just doesn't seem to work out for me, and it doesn't take too long to just go along this way. I don't know if we need to chop the tip off of this tree. No. Well, we can probably cut these quite large because we're going to use the telehandler to load, and our trailer is pretty long, so we want to get the best length that we can. Should probably cut this one in half though. Start with the heavy pieces with the telehandler. So I just want to sell a couple of these And I just want to see what they're worth, because if they're worth good money... Okay, so just getting used to working out the attachment of this tool there. So yeah, if they're worth good money, then we might as well chop them all down and sell them, and then we can just replant more trees. And we've got plenty of other trees up at the other field as well. I probably wouldn't chop all of those by hand. I think we would probably hire one of the tree harvesting machines. They are quite expensive to use, but I think the amount of trees that we've got should cover the cost. And if we're going to put them into the carpentry business, then it's an expense that we can kind of afford, because we'll make good profits if we don't just sell them for logs. But I think the carpentry is going to be the way to go. Might as well. It's there on the map for us to use. We could even use one of the mods and have our own sawmill. They're slightly cheaper and they do the same thing. But I think it's better off just buying the one that's on the map, because it's kind of right where we are anyway. So we'll just get a few of these logs loaded up. I might do 2 trees. We'll see what it's worth. If it's not really worth doing, then I won't chop down all of them. It's a little bit tricky to load and unload using this front grab for the telehandler, but it's probably the best option. I don't load by hand, so it's a little bit slow going. It would be nice if we could try and pick up more than 1 or 2 logs at a time. But I don't think we're not really in a rush. We've got all day. It's January. There's nothing else for us to do. No grass to mow, no crops to plant, no crops to harvest. So it's just kind of a fill-in day. Keep ourselves busy somehow. I'll just let that roll off. Perfect. If we can keep them all nicely stacked like that, and that'll be good going. Don't know how much I would put on this trailer if I was doing a proper tree harvest, because it wouldn't stack too nicely. Probably have to hire a proper log trailer for that. I don't think the small log trailer that we have is going to quite cut it, because it's just too small. We can't get enough on it, and we can't really put big lengths of timber on it either. So we would definitely have to hire the in-game log trailer, which you can pretty much put a full tree on. So I watched a video recently about trees, because I'm fun like that, but the most profitable length of tree is around 8 meters. With those big log trailers you can put like 15-20 meter tree on, so we should really be aiming to try and chop them slightly smaller, try and make sure we get the most out of it that we can. See, that's the full length of that trailer. Well, you would think that's good money, but I'm not sure if it is. So just one more piece to go, and then I think we may as well fell a second tree, chop that up. Can I pick this up by hand? Looks like I can. It's only 110 kilos, so you would imagine that most normal people could pick that up. At least I know I could. Just about. Wouldn't be able to throw it around like this though. That would not be easy. And we have a small piece of branch down here. We'll just grab that as well. Might as well. Otherwise I'm going to end up running over it with the mowers. So we don't want to be doing that. Otherwise they'll be turning into mulch. So chuck that down there. Strap all this up. And we'll go and fell a second tree now. And then I'll get that stacked up again, but I won't torture you by watching me load that up again. So I'll cut back to you when we are on our way to the sawmill, which shouldn't be too much longer. Then we'll see what these trees are worth. Okay, so that second tree actually piled the trailer up quite a bit. It seems to be quite a heavy load. We are struggling to get some speed up here. Lucky we're not going very far. I didn't do a very good job of delimbing one of the logs on the trailer, but that shouldn't really affect the price, I don't think. So hopefully we're going to make ourselves around about $5,000 or $6,000 here. And if that's the case, then I think we'll chop down quite a few of those trees and do a few loads. But let's just have a look and see what we're going to get. Don't actually know which species of tree we planted there. So 2,700, are you kidding me? How was that all we got? Those trees were huge. Well, given that, I'm not going to chop down any more trees. We will save it for when we do the trees on the sunflower field. But we are going to turn around and go back up towards our other farm, because in February we have to sell the honey, so we need to get all of that loaded up today, and that's another long process. And actually thinking about it, need to disconnect this trailer, and we don't have the fork on, we have the log fork, so that's not going to be any good to us. So we'll just go and quickly swap that over, and then we'll get back up over towards the honey. Okay, here we are. Just drop that trailer off right there. Perfect position for us to do some loading up. So we've got them stacked too high at the moment, but we've got heaps more to spawn. But I think it might be time that we checked on the feed for the sheep, because they haven't been fed for a long time. Yeah, they've got barely anything left, so we're just going to dump one grass bale into their feed trough. And again, sheep are just something that is so easy to maintain. A couple of bales per year, maybe 3, is all they need. And they just produce you wool all year round, so it's perfect. They don't produce enough for us to keep the spinnery going full time, but they do give us quite a bit. And it's not much of a job to just move it over every now and again. Every couple of months we just move the pallets that they produce, and that keeps us in business over there. Okay, I can't quite get the telehandler down there, but lucky for us this thing has a boom, so we can just, well, we can actually get down here quite nicely if we try. A little bit sluggish, but we're in and we're out, so that's good. Well, that's the sheep taken care of until about March, April time. Probably a little bit later than that, actually. So honey is the next biz, and the price is 1,032, so it's going to jump right up tomorrow. So getting that loaded up today is going to be a good time saver for us. Hopefully the price will be right first thing in the morning. But I think that's pretty much going to be it for January, once we get this loaded up, and then we'll just have a quick rest and get down to that store with all this honey tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be making ourselves another 20-odd thousand. And there we go, another pallet has spawned straight away. It's normally around about 3/4 of a trailer for the honey. So again, it's going to be a little bit of a long-winded job of loading up, but I won't bore you too much with it. I'll just show you a few little pieces that we do. So what I normally do is grab a pallet, wait for another one to spawn, and then I like to do them in pairs. Just makes it easier to put on the trailer, otherwise we end up knocking stuff over when we go to put the second row on. So it's just easier to stack them as a 2 and then put them on together. And I don't really like to go any more than 2 high, because then they start getting crazy on the fork. The game likes to glitch out a little bit. There we go, another 2. Should be pallets just spawning immediately when we take them away, because there'll be so many. But we've got 3 beehives now, and they should be profiting quite well off the sunflower field, because I think that gives us a bonus. Not sure if it gives us a bonus in honey, but it gives us a bonus definitely on sunflower yield. Okay, the forks are a little bit too far through there. Let's just try and nudge that forward if we can. Yeah, Perfect. So we've got room for another 2 on the end. So we can do 3 stacks of 2. That's a good time saver for us. So they're small pallets though, aren't they? They're only 400 litres each. Would be nice if they put it up to 1,000, but like everything else in the game was 1,000. Why is honey only 400? Just means that I've got more stacking to do. I don't really. It's not the worst job in the world, but it's also very time consuming. Okay, so I'll make sure the forks are not all the way through this time. So we'll get this on the trailer, we'll get loaded up, we'll have a rest, and I'll probably see you down at the store when it's time for us to sell. Okay, a new day, and we're selling the honey, and there we go, we got just 16,000. That's not really quite what I was hoping for. Got 3 beehives, but still, again, it's just something you don't have to do anything to maintain it. You just plonk them down and they produce honey, so it's all welcome money for me in my opinion. So the next job for the telehandler and this trailer will be to load up the clothing, which I think is in March. Actually no, it will be the sunflower oil in March, so we'll get that loaded up again. We'll do that today and then we'll sell tomorrow. I don't know if I'll show that in episode. Might be saving that for the next episode because it's our first time doing it. And I think we've also got some silage, which I hope is probably going to be ready by now, so we can get on and sell that. So we might be ending up with around about $100,000 today. Not bad considering we started on 30,000. So let's get up here and we'll get on to that silage. Okay, we're down here with the silage. We've got 14 bales to sell, so it might be a couple of $1,000s worth right here. Should be a lot more than a couple of thousand, but you know, hopefully about 10 to 12 maybe is what I'm hoping for, so that we're ending up a little bit closer to that 100,000 mark. So let's just drop those off there. And what, 3,700. What have I done there? What is the price? Price for silage is good. Oh, don't tell me they weren't fully fermented, because they were on like 98% or something when I drove down. Ah, oh, idiot. I was supposed to wait for a couple of hours or so in game so that would become silage, but it's just ended up selling grass. Ah, oh, that's so annoying, because they've been sitting in that field for 2 months now. Ah, oh, that's frustrating. But it's not the end of the world. We've still got nearly 93,000, and we don't really need the money right now anyway, so that is frustrating though. Just means that we're gonna have to do another cut, but I didn't really want to sell the next batch of silage either. That was going to be kept for cows, so we're going to be a little bit behind on the silage in terms of cash. What an idiot. Okay, and the final job that we have to do today is to make sure that we have food for the chickens. So we're just going to fill up the trailer with around about 6,000 litres of feed for them. Don't want to overfill the trailer. This silo is quite slow at emptying, but it was a cheap silo. We could probably upgrade the silo, but I don't really see the point. It's only time that it takes at the end of the day. It doesn't really benefit us to go and spend hundreds of thousands on a silo. This one does the job just fine for us, albeit a little bit slow. So just around about 6,000 will be perfect. We'll just go with that. That's going to be more than enough to keep them going for a couple of months at least. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of what we have to do in winter. Just need to get, I've got the trailer stuck here. I'm not quite in the trigger. Should be pretty close to it though. There we go. Yep, so there's not much left to do in terms of winter. Next job is going to be shooting up to the oil factory though, so we can get all that sunflower oil prepped and loaded on, ready to go. But the chickens are healthy, the sheep are healthy, and the cows are doing good. They're still producing milk. We're not going to bother selling any animals because there's no point. As this tractor could do with a service. Everything's looking like it's in pretty bad condition. So we'll just repair everything that's... just make it all brand new, I suppose. Only 2,500 to do that. That's not too bad. Tractor's had a tough life with us. We've got a few things in the garage that I don't really feel that we need, like this wood trailer that can go. That's 2,000, so that pays for the service of the tractor. We're not going to use that trailer. What else don't we need? This planter. I think that's too small for what we're operating with. What else can we sell? Probably do with upgrading the cultivator, but we don't want to sell it just yet. So I think we're pretty good. Maybe this fertilizer spreader, because that's actually worth more than I thought. That'll put us up to 100,000, and we don't need it really because we've got the slurry and stuff, slurry and manure. Harvester's gone down in value. Tractors, that's worth 10 grand. Are you kidding me? Well, still, we're going to keep it forever, I think. So yeah, I think that fertilizer spreader will keep just at the moment, because we might end up using it just for contracts or something, or just in case we forget to do something. It's quite a fast machine to work with. It's got a good working width and all that, but yeah, we should probably sell it eventually because we want to be a organic farm. So prices: clothing, April, May is good to sell. Sunflower oil is in March, so that's tomorrow. Canola oil would be October, so that would actually work out quite well if we had a canola field. We could alternate between the two selling. Raisins and grapes, probably want to be getting into them at some point down the track. Quite an expensive thing to produce though. Now furniture, that's a track we do want to be going down, planks and furniture. So we'll get to that eventually. Manure, yeah, we got shitloads of it, literally, but we don't want to be selling it. It's not really worth anything. It's better for us to just keep it and use it, either on our own fields or for fertilizing contracts. But that's pretty much the winter months, guys. You can probably see why I don't show it every time. There's not really a great deal to do. So I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.